Highlights for Sunday night on BBC One. At 7:15, Ronnie Barker and David Jason star in Open All Hours.
I think she likes me, the milk woman. Oh, really? What, just casual or enough to give us a discount?
At 7:45, Howard's Way.
As of tomorrow, I'm going into partnership with Jack Relph.
That's great.
Oh, yes, great. I mean, what could be better than throwing all our security down the drain?
At 8:35, in Whicker's World, Alan Whicker meets more Britons working in America.
To be fit here, you've got to jog, eat health food, see an analyst, make love regularly and energetically.
At 9:30, in Sickness and in Health, starring Dandy Nicholls and Warren Mitchell.
Oh, blimey. I suppose I'll live long enough to see West Ham win that European Cup.
Your grandchildren won't live long enough.
Shut up.
Highlights for Sunday night on BBC One.
Well, to round off Saturday evening here on 1 in 50 Minutes, Michael O'Keefe stars as Danny Stetson, whose mind is stolen by the sinister cult The Homelanders, leaving a split image, our film, at 10:30.
It's no use.
No, don't touch it.
Keep still.
Go on, you haven't got long. Go on.
I must tell you, the producer chose that one, not me.
Was that actually meant to happen?
Well, yes, the bra was meant to come off. Yes, I didn't know about that, and I was horrified when I found out, and I got into a terrible state. And they had a lovely little man in front with a fishing rod with a line there to pull it off. But the first time it didn't work, and I fell in the mud. And they said, "Oh, mop her down and put her up and try it again." You see. Anyway, the second time it worked. And I was so thrilled because, did you see, I went like that and you didn't see me boobs. And I was so thrilled about that, and then suddenly Hattie grabbed my arm and there it was. And I'm going to tell you something, I wet buckets after that because my right boob had been seen. And Kenny was evil on that. Do you know what he did?
Oh, Kenny Williams?
Yes, he had a throat mic. And after that, I mean, I'd been bitten all over, you know, with the midges, and I was cold and wet, and he came over to me, Kenny, and he said, "Oh, you all right, girl?" And I said, "No, it's a disgrace." I said, "I'm never going to do another one of these films again." And I was swearing like anything. And do you know what? He had a throat mic on, and they taped it. And the next day they showed it, and I had to listen to it. And he tells me he didn't know the throat mic was on, but you know Kenny Williams, don't you? He's awful. I love him now.
In early January this year, Kate Bush had never performed before an important live audience. She had several successful singles to her name, a couple of albums in the charts, a string of TV appearances, but in a sense she was a media singer. When she took the decision to go on tour, no one doubted how important it could prove to her career. Because most live artists make their mistakes either in private or before a very small audience. Tonight, here at the Liverpool Empire, Kate Bush starts at the top, before several thousand. She can't afford to fail.
The planning started in earnest 3 months ago. A series of corridor discussions led to phone calls and then a production meeting. Time, space and even furniture can never be found, and most of the early and therefore important decisions were taken where people just ended up, sometimes in the back room of a friend of a friend.
Has anyone spoken to the Musicians Union about this?
Or PRS?
No, the MU. Did anybody mention it to the MU?
No. Not specifically, no.
Because I have had instances before with people using tapes where the MU have picked up on it. You've re-recorded the backtrack with the band.
We are re-recording it.
There's no agency for tour personnel. It's who you know, and more important, who's available. Altogether, the tour would employ 40 people. While the production team was still coming together, Kate Bush was working on her dancing.
Two, get the head over. Three, get the head over. Further, keep the left leg working all the time. And up. 2, 3, 4, 5. Right in front of the mouth. Stretch, stretch, and down. Now to up again. 2, 3.
Now you might think that Kate Bush is in pretty good shape, but a dancing instructor had 3 weeks to produce a super-fit body, capable of enduring 2 hours of gruelling exertion.
4, and side out. 2, change in, and 1.
A doctor's daughter, not yet 21, with all the pressures of a £200,000 tour on her shoulders, selecting and rejecting the best advice she could find and buy.
And centre, and out. Okay. One of our problems is that Kate is dancing better and better. I mean, I'm teaching her, and she's working. It's incredible how far she's got. I wouldn't have thought it was possible. And the problem now is that she's getting so good at dancing that it's going to be hard to keep her from dancing so that she can sing properly. I mean, it would be fantastic if we could put the whole show on a recorder, and then she could mime it and then dance. We can't do that. She's got to sing it, so we've got to fit the dancing to the singing.
What, you mean she'd be out of breath?
Oh, yeah. I mean, she couldn't dance the way she could dance, possibly, and sing at the same time. So somehow we've got to work it out so that it all fits in properly. Yes.
The broader ideas were usually Kate's, the choreography often a case of trial and error, with Anthony Van Laast cutting back on her more enthusiastic contortions. Nearly every day meant shaping another song, or perfecting the one they'd started yesterday.
You do that too.
Yeah. It's important that the visuals are just emphasising the music, because it's not a dance show. It's a music show that's being illustrated with movement, and it's important that they both complement each other. And I'm not a dancer, I'm just learning to dance, and what I can do, I'll try and put across in the show, but I'm not a dancer. I just love dancing, and I want to be able to learn as much as I can.
Shortage of protein, has anyone thought of introducing into this country a French delicacy, bat soup? And they kindly enclose some bats. So we made a nice bat soup and went out onto the streets with it, breaking it gently to people exactly what the soup was made of.
Oh yes, it's nice. Bit gamey.
Would you recommend it to the viewers?
It's very nice.
That's made of bat, what you've just eaten.
Oh, you dirty monkey.
You're right.
Add some more?
Yes, please. What's in it?
Can you move
I don't know.
Yes, certainly.
No.
Move up. Move up there. You're blocking
Look, see that young man there? Would you?
Can you move back? You're blocking all the pavement. I must tell you once more to move. If you don't move, I shall arrest you for willful obstruction. That's the end of that. You're blocking the pavement.
But we've filmed here every week.
I don't care whether you've filmed here for the last 10 years. If you don't move, I shall arrest you for willful obstruction.
So we did move, first into a side street and then across the road onto a wide corner. But half an hour later, PC Herbert came back again.
You're arrested, dear. Sorry.
I've just been arrested for handing out bat stew.
Can't stay here blocking the complete pavement as you are now.
Where would you like it? All right, where should we go?
Let's call the police station. Right, frankly, just that you can't block this pavement.
But we aren't blocking this pavement. But we aren't, really we aren't.
Yes, sure. For willful obstruction, that's it. I mean, what you say when you get in...
One of the cinema's most famous trademarks, the Rank organisation gong, is to disappear from the big screen. Rank say their film production section has been losing money and they've decided to cut their losses, abandoning more than £20 million worth of films already in the pipeline. Christopher Powell reports.
The Rank organisation have been involved in filmmaking since the 1940s. They became famous with a series of classic films featuring some of the best-known British actors and actresses. The company policy has always been to make general appeal family entertainment. Their last big investment in British films was in the 1970s. The films were popular with the critics and the public, but they still didn't make enough money to cover the £10 million investment. The company will still be involved in filmmaking through their Pinewood studios, which they let at a profit to other film companies. Superman and the James Bond films are made there. So how badly does the lack of money affect other British producers?
Well, the industry does desperately need money, undoubtedly, and with a market of our size, one needs some form of subsidy, which we've been asking the government to give. But it is possible to make British films, and Don Boyd's company, of which I'm head of production, has made 5 British films in the last year. So I think it demonstrates that this can be done. And we continue to have complete faith in the future of British films.
Rank-owned cinemas, the Odeons and Gaumonts, will not disappear. The company intend to retain their film distribution division, which made a profit last year.
Every lunchtime, after leaving her dancing practice, physically drained, she'd drive across the Thames to Greenwich to rehearse the music. At Wharf Studios, the best available place, with the right facilities for just running through the songs time and time and time again. However many times they'd tried it before, they still kept going until it was perfect every time. Whereas with the dancing, she was still uncertain and happy to listen. With the music, Kate Bush knew exactly what she wanted. A tight, punchy sound, if anything, better than the record.
We're not just reproducing the albums here, I mean, when you're a band, you have your own identity, and if you're just reproducing albums, there's not much point in having a band, I mean, you might as well just play the album.
Does she ever lose her temper with you?
No, I mean, do you ever lose your temper with it?
Lose my temper? No. Come on, let's get on with it. Wow, we've got to get together more because it's not sounding as it should be yet. It's not tight enough. They have to be tight. And especially the fact that we're going to be doing movement to the music has to be very, very together and precise. And that's what we're trying to achieve. It's not for real. He just holds his breath. I think the main reason why they listen to me is because I'm paying the wages and that it's my music. And I think they have enough respect for me, I hope, not to turn around and say, you don't know what you're talking about.
How much like the record will your music finally be in the concert?
That is the problem, because obviously the albums have been very carefully produced and you've got mixed levels and everything. And for live work, to a certain extent, we couldn't do it exactly as the album is, even if we wanted to, because it wouldn't come across in a strong way. For a live performance, you have to be aware of the fact that making things more obvious so as people can hear them, trying to possibly make songs quicker.
It was a combination of strong personality and discipline that kept Kate Bush in control of 8 accomplished musicians, some of them playing professionally while she was still at school. And she had the help of her 2 brothers. One of them, Paddy, had even found special instruments for the tour. What do you call it?
It's called a strumento da porco. That's its real name, or at least the name that Pretorius gave it. He was a writer on musical instruments in the 17th century.
What do you use it for?
We use it for a number with a Islamic flavour to it called kashka from Baghdad, and it sounds like a santur, which is traditional Arabian instrument played with hammers, just like this.
You're Kate's brother, aren't you?
Yeah, afraid so.
Is it sort of a bit of a family business, really?
Well, yes and no. I mean, like, Kate and I have been making music together for years and years, on different levels, you know, but I mean, there's always been music in our family. My other brother, John, he played. I was in a band with him when I was about 13 or 14.
Are you nervous about the concert tour?
A little apprehensive. No, I think it'll be good fun, actually. Really good fun. I mean, we're so well rehearsed as far as it goes, and the music will take care of itself.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm speaking to you from the King's Road in Chelsea, in London. And down here on all the buses, it says Caine is Carter. Well, at the moment, Caine is Elizabeth Taylor's husband in a picture called X, Y, and Z. And I'm afraid I can't get away from London to be with you to see the picture up in Newcastle. What I would like to do is just say thank you very much to everybody in Newcastle who was so wonderful to us while we were making the picture there. And I would just like to wish you a happy evening, and I hope you enjoy the film that we made. Thank you.
Finally, Dame Margot Fonteyn has unveiled a statue of herself on the site of her birthplace at Reigate in Surrey. The statue by Nathan David shows Dame Margot in one of her favourite dancing roles, Ondine the Water Nymph.
I think that this really is the most surprising and the most impressive day of my whole life, because I haven't been able to find anybody else who has actually been alive to pull the string to unveil the statue which stands on their birthplace. I think it is a very rare event, and I'm very conscious of this, and I find it tremendously exciting.
Although many local people attended the unveiling, for Dame Margot it was very much a family occasion. That's the news and sport on 2. Our late news is at 11:25.
Well, let's now take a look at the weather. Heavy showers and some thunderstorms over England will die away only slowly tonight, with some mist patches developing later.
We shall not cease from exploration. And the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. Through the unknown, remembered gate, when the last of earth left to discover is that which was the beginning. At the source of the longest river, the voice of the hidden waterfall, and the children in the apple tree, not known because not looked for, but heard, half heard in the stillness, between two waves of the sea. Quick now, here, now, always. A condition of complete simplicity, costing not less than everything. And all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. When the tongues of flame are infolded into the crowned knot of fire, and the fire and the rose are one.
Don't go spare when the kids are in your hair. Take 'em up to Butlins and you'll never have a care.
They get their share of fun at the fair. It doesn't cost a penny, so I never lose my hair.
Building castles on the front or on a treasure hunt. They'll even get you laughing when they pull a little stunt. Then if it rains, there are shows and games when a lot of other holidays are money down the drain.
Jump in the pool, they'll teach you how to crawl.
It's certainly more fun than being back at school.
Then late at night when the chop tight, we all get together for a pint and a bite.
So if your name is Slip or Brick or Whack, it really doesn't matter if it's Smith or Black. Take 'em up to Butlins and you'll come back a happy family.
Who are you? What do you want? What are your qualifications?
I am the daughter of Mata Hari.
You are a liar.
I told you to come back.
Silence! Or I will switch you off. You're even more fascinating than your mother. Welcome home, my child.
Welcome indeed, welcome.
Stop!
The Mata Hari School of Dancing is the only truly international school of espionage in the world.
In the world.
There is no political prejudice here.
Prejudice?
We train Russian spies for America.
America?
And American spies for Russia.
Very democratic.
Very democratic.
Here we have the decoding and cipher class. And here is our class in karate and self-defense. If you will excuse me, I have an important conference to attend. Perla, you will show Marta to her room. I have been looking for you. It is little Otto.
Who is he?
He was one of your mother's lovers. We often find him lying around.
Is he dead?
Hard to tell. He always looked like that. Come along, child. The auction is about to begin. Tonight we are selling one of the finest art collections in Europe.
Le Chiffre's collection.
Who?
Le Chiffre.
Who is Le Chiffre?
The man who owns the art collection.
What art collection?
The collection that's about to be auctioned.
Who said anything about an auction?
You did.
Who am I?
Frau Hofner.
Never heard of her. You're insane, my child. Quite insane.
Half a dozen complete outfits were in their final stages, every single one capable of being changed quickly between songs.
Yeah, right. And I think without actually having cobwebs all over you, I think this is the nearest you're going to get to cobwebs without it. Beautiful. And for the dancers...
With 3 weeks to go, Kate Bush was more like an executive than a singer, making a series of decisions almost every hour. Every detail, every colour, every texture, she helped to decide. Even the choice of the crew food was partly influenced by her and produced by her other brother, John.
Well, we've got nothing really difficult, but there are a lot of vegetarians involved, about 16. And my wife's been cooking for the last few days. And it's working out really well. Everybody likes it. It's all going very fast.
It's almost a vegetarian tour, isn't it?
Yeah, you could say that, yes. Yeah, well, it's good food because it lets people carry on working afterwards. They're not walking around really laid out with an enormous great meat meal.
Last week, the preparations climaxed at London's Rainbow Theatre, specially booked for the final run-through. In conditions of surprising secrecy, the last wrinkles were gradually ironed out. After 2.5 months of intense hard work, everyone, including Kate herself, was holding up well. By then, the entire tour, finishing with 4 nights at the Palladium, had been sold out.
The most difficult ones are where I've got the headset and I'm moving a lot. It's an amazing feeling of freedom because, like, there's nothing in your hands, yet you can hear your voice being projected miles away. It's incredible. But it's not quite in its full design yet. There are just a few things that are wrong with it. And it's not always right in front of my mouth, but we're getting that soon too.
With only 1 week to go before opening, how do you think the rehearsals have gone so far?
I think they're going very well. There's a lot of rushing, but there always is at this time, and that's when most gets done. I think it's going well.
The plan was for a fully integrated dancing, singing, clowning, conjuring, acting, poetical effects show, throwing everything in and just hoping it would hold together. On the last dress rehearsal, it finally did. And although at first they wouldn't admit it, they were ready for Liverpool. There'll never be another night quite like the first Kate Bush show at the Liverpool Empire. Even parts of the audience were nervous, wondering if the young lady with the brittle voice had brittle nerves as well.
It has been hard work every day, 7 days a week, but it's really been a question of getting the right people to do the right jobs at the right time and pulling them all together and making a big team and making it work.
Are you nervous about tonight?
Excited, I think we all are. Yes, we're all nervous, of course we are. But fingers crossed.
It means a lot, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
After just one song, we knew. She was a sensation. Her reputation was safe, and more. Kate Bush was thoroughly enjoying herself during the greatest test of her life.
We get to talk about one of my very favorite people.
Yes. Sir, how are you today?
Just fine.
Now, shall I tell you very briefly what the series is all about? I'm sorry you've got to put up with a frankly ancient BBC setup. Do you mind?
No, I was just wondering about the 2 mics here and whether...
One's for you and one's for me.
All right.
Eventually, it'll be 6 programs about Mrs. Thatcher. They'll go out starting in May. So the time thing is, you know, things were happening, things that are happening today happened 3 months ago. And we imagine most of the things that you will want to talk about will go in the international programme. Obviously, it's a marvellous box office for us. And so we will have you right up at the top and almost certainly in the last one as well. And it's just a conversation. We'll just take it and see.
All right, okay.
Mr. President, Margaret Thatcher was the first NATO government leader, I think, to come to Washington to visit you after you became president. She came, I think, in February '81, and people saw that as a symbol of your great closeness. Were they right about that?
Well, yes, we had known each other for quite some time. As a matter of fact, I was still governor of California, and she was not yet prime minister, but had become head of the Conservative Party when I first met her on a visit that I had made to London. And we found ourselves in great agreement about a number of things that had to do with international situation. And I was very pleased and honored to have her here as the first of our close allies, the NATO allies, head of state. And as I say, I was just greatly impressed. Now, I know that there were some people at the time conversationally when I mentioned how well I thought of her. While I was still in London, there were some people who couldn't quite get used to the idea of a woman as prime minister. And I doubt if there are many of those around anymore.
Absolutely. You were seen, both of you, as the leaders, really, of a conservative revolution on each side of the Atlantic. Was her having started this in Britain before you had the chance to start it here, was that helpful? Was that important to you?
Yes, very much so. Yes, I think it was an international happening, that there was a reaction worldwide about her becoming Prime Minister.
You mentioned her as a woman, and that obviously was of great importance in Britain. But at international gatherings, very male-dominated gatherings, the summits and so forth, how does that one woman stand out? Does it matter she's a woman?
She is a great Prime Minister, not because she's a woman, but because of what she knows, what she does, and her insight into the right answers for the problems confronting us. And I have never seen any, in any of our NATO meetings, our summit meetings, any lack of respect and recognition of her stature because she is a woman.
Do you think that the Conservative revolution, which you've both presided over, which we mentioned before, is one which is going to last? I mean, do you see it as having changed these two countries for the foreseeable future?
I have to believe that it will, because I think probably both of our countries had gone through a period in which, in some ways, we lost faith in our own people, and we began to turn back to government doing everything, and government being looked to for things that properly belonged out with the people and at the private sector. And I think there has been a recognition of that. I haven't been calling it conservatism so much anymore as common sense. And yes, I think we have made a turn, and that it'll be a long time, and I hope never, before people see themselves reverting to this statism and this belief that government must take over and do everything.
Just going back finally to Mrs. Thatcher herself personally, in our country she's often thought of as somebody who lacks a sense of fun, a sense of humour. Now, you visited with her frequently on both sides of the Atlantic. I mean, have you any particular memories of her character, as it were, perhaps the sense of humour she might have?
I'm being a little reluctant here about telling something, and I hope it won't be tactless of me if I tell it. But when we had the summit meeting here in our country at Williamsburg, which, as you know, has been restored as the original colony that it was, and the first meeting was an evening meeting, dinner, to open the whole session, and it took place in what had been the British colonial governor's mansion. And I couldn't resist. I was all prepared that when we sat down, that I was going to suggest that had one of her predecessors been a little more clever, she might be hosting that gathering. And so we sat. There was a moment of quiet before conversation broke out, and I said, Margaret, if one of your predecessors had been a little more clever, she said, I know, I would have been hosting this gathering. I never got to finish my my line.
Mr. President, thank you very much indeed.
Well, a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Is that all right? Not
wonderful.
That's fine.
All right.
It's a marvellous come on when you say I may be about to be a little tactless against everyone listening.
Well, I keep remembering a story that I once heard over there in one of your libraries in London, and he hadn't been able to find a certain book about the United States, and he finally went to the librarian for help. And she said, if you looked under colonies. Well,
thank you very much.
Was that all right?
Yeah,
Thank you
that's
very
fine.
much
Yeah,
indeed.
super.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
We're all right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Thanks, Chris.